connect, grow, love, serve. These are the 4 pillars of what we are called to do as United Methodists. In the United Methodist Church, we have our own unique language and way of speaking. One of the ways that this gets fleshed out is known at a phrase that we call in the United Methodist Church, the connection. The connection is simply a way of describing our way of growing and learning together as United Methodists. The connection is made up of our conferences, general, jurisdictional, and annual conferences, our districts, and our churches. All of these units are connected together in a way that helps us to love, serve, and care for the needs of our communities in which we are planted. We are connected with one another in a unique way through the system called the United-Methodist-Church. This connection is meant to help us to grow as followers of Jesus Christ, to help us to love in a unique and a powerful way through systems like the apportionments, our appointment system, and the itineracy. These things connect us as United Methodists, but these things are not unique to the United Methodist Church. We have a connection to each other in other ways because God has made us that way. God has made us to connect with one another. And as we connect with one another, we find a way to grow in our life and our faith. But my friends, over these last few months, it's been hard to make a connection. Even with the technology that's available to us through YouTube videos, social media, and worship services, we seem disconnected. One of the things that concerns me of our time that we're living in now is the way that we hear of new cases of COVID-19. It seems like every day we hear a national report. Every week we see reports from our state and how it is that the virus is spreading throughout the state. Every couple of weeks we see something from our county and know how many cases there are in our area. While on one hand this is curiosity and helpful information, on the other, I feel like it makes us disconnected with one another because we look at one another wondering, do you have it? Are you one who can infect me? Instead of looking at each other as persons of God, as people who deserve love and compassion, yes, we need to be safe. We need to have moments where we know that we are doing the very best practices we can to keep ourselves healthy and safe. But we also need to know that we have a bigger calling, not just to play it safe, but to live a life that connects others with God, that shows His grace and His love in so many wonderful ways. I want to reflect with you today on one verse, just one verse from the Bible. It comes from Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. It says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you fulfill the law of Christ." Now, the law of Christ is not specified here or really anywhere in the Bible. It doesn't say the law of Christ is this or the law of Christ means that. But as we think about what the author of Galatians is sharing with us, we can think about what it means to carry each other. That Jesus, when asked what is the greatest commandment of all, he says to love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. This fulfills the law and the prophets, Jesus says. So this, we can conclude, is the law of Christ, to love God and to love neighbor. But when we fear one another, when we look at one another as simply a vector of a virus, we miss out on love. We miss out on compassion. We become disconnected when we're meant to be connected as a community, as a church, as a nation, as a world, as people who are blessed by God. Carry each other's burdens, Galatians says. How is it that you can help others to live through this time? What challenges are your neighbors and your friends, your families facing? How is it that you can listen and be a guide and be a hope, using your resources of faith to help build others up instead of questioning and tearing them down? We live in complicated times. Those who are in authority, those who are leaders, need our prayers. They need our support. They need our encouragement. I invite you to live this verse out in your life, to carry each other's burdens, to live out the law of Christ. I come to you today from our worship center, and behind me is a cross that was lovingly made by John Kelly to spruce up our live presentations on YouTube. That instead of seeking a blank wall, that there was something there to reflect upon. The reason I want to bring you this devotion from this space today is because this is what binds us together. This is what connects us. There's an old idea that when you look at the cross, there are two simple pieces, one that is vertical and one that is horizontal. The vertical is the way that you think about pointing to God, pointing on up to God and his grace and his love. What is it that God has for you? And the horizontal is looking at the world around us. The pointing towards God, what is God's passion and compassion for you and the world? What is it that gets you excited about what God is doing? And the horizontal is, where is that meeting in the world? And when their two places meet, where they connect, we connect with one another. But imagine if this cross was disconnected. It was just two separate pieces. When they come together, they make a mighty, wonderful witness. When we find our passion for people, our connection with God, and our love for the world, it combines in service in a mighty way. I invite you today to connect with someone, to help them to feel and know the power of God. God bless you. Have a great day.